They buried him alive. I was there. I saw it happen. His hands were tied, his mouth stuffed with rags to keep him from screaming. He kicked, twisted, but the men held him down. The hole was already dug, deep enough, waiting. I will never forget the sound of the soil hitting his body as they shoveled it over him, the way he jerked when the first handful landed on his face, the way his eyes, wide with terror, locked onto mine. He wanted me to do something, but I couldn't. His name was Kofi. He was my friend. We grew up together in our small village in Ghana. He was the quiet type, always helping his mother in the fields, always doing what he was told. He never caused trouble, but trouble found him. One evening, a wealthy man's son was found dead in the forest, his head bashed in with a rock. The whole village was in shock. People whispered about spirits, curses, revenge. But then someone, nobody knows who, said they saw Kofi in the forest that day. That was all it took. They dragged him from his mother's house, beat him in the open square. He kept saying, "I didn't do it. I swear on my father's grave." But nobody listened. The elders gathered. There would be no trial, no questions, just judgment. They said the spirits were angry. They said blood must pay for blood. The night before his punishment, I snuck into the small hut where they kept him. His face was swollen, his lips cracked. When he saw me, he didn't beg for help. He just whispered, "Tell my mother I didn't do it." I nodded. I wanted to say something, but my throat felt too tight. The next morning, the whole village gathered. The men took him to the burial spot just outside the village, near the baobab tree. The same place they had buried thieves and murderers before. His mother screamed, cursed the elders, tore at her clothes. But the decision was final. Kofi struggled, but he was weak. They pushed him into the hole. Someone shoved a rag into his mouth. Someone else started shoveling. I wanted to stop it. I wanted to yell that this was wrong. But fear held me back. The last thing I saw before the dirt covered his face was his eyes. Days later, the real killer was found. A traveler confessed in another village. The elders acted like it was nothing, like it was just a mistake. They never spoke of Kofi again, but we all knew. And some nights, when the wind blows through the trees, I hear the sound of muffled screams beneath the earth. Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts.